Alrighty, you guys. Today we are doing something a little different, or really it's just me that's doing something different. I am working from my phone. I did not feel like setting everything up. Plus my laptop's battery is low, on top of the fact that I would have to move everything to a different place. And you know what? I'm not in the mood for it. So yeah, we're working from my phone and we're gonna see how that goes. I have very few things. Actually, no, I have so many things surrounding me right now, but very few products that I'm going to be using. For today, I have 3 colors that I'm using. The first one is going to be Raw Sienna. This is by Rockwell, and I love their Raw Sienna. It kind of reminds me of yellow ochre. Then next we have Winsor & Newton's Cerulean Blue Hue, another color I like and don't use a lot. It took me a very long time to run out of my first one. Mind you, the first one was in here. That's a new color, by the way. And then the last one, which is a color I just bought, is this Perylene Violet, Winsor & Newton as well. I saw this color and immediately fell in love. Now really quickly, so you guys can get an idea of what these colors look like, I'm going to show you so you can see. So Winsor & Newton's Cerulean Blue looks like this right here. Hopefully you guys can see that. Let me just bring this down. Okay, yeah. This Cerulean Blue, absolutely beautiful. It's non-granulating. The light fastness is pretty good. Then we have the Perylene Violet, which is also amazing. Right here. Look at this. Isn't this just scrumdiddlyumptious? Amazing. Also non-granular. Winsor & Newton again. And for Raw Sienna, I haven't made a card for it yet. So here we go. Right here, a little sample of it. Very beautiful. So I don't know what these colors are going to look like together, but I imagine they're actually going to look pretty nice. Now, before I use them, what I will do is do a little test. Also, the cards you see me working on, it's because I originally had this little watercolor booklet where I put all the colors in, which was very nice, but I kind of want things to be organized in a different way. So we're just trying that out. There's that Raw Sienna again, by the way. And I think I have filled up all of these sheets pretty much. Actually, here's a little space here. A painting I did a while ago, and I was planning out all the colors. So I am just going to use this little strip here to see what these colors are going to look like together. So for Raw Sienna, and I will lift this up a little bit more. Okay, if I can open it. Okay, I'm just gonna dab a little bit of it right there. Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. That is an Indie song, by the way. Indie. Next, we'll do Cerulean Blue. And it's just really quickly so I can see what these colors are going to look like together. Let me get a little bit more water. Okay, I'll even let them overlap a little bit because I know that'll give me some greenish look. There we go, to see what they look like when they mix. Gonna wipe that. And finally, and if I'm saying this name wrong, someone please let me know. Okay, all right. See, it's busting out again because this is brand new. Lordy. Okay, so I am going to put it here actually. Ooh, oh my gosh, this color just amazes me so much. So again, mixing it a little bit with both of these to see what happens. Let me see if I can get a better mix going on in here. Okay, I think I like those colors together, and the deep richness of this one is very nice. Since it is still busting out of the tube, I guess I'm just gonna go ahead and put it on here. Now, one thing I will test out really quickly, just from observation, is if I want to change the blue that I am using. I have Ultramarine, two different brands of it, by the way, but I'm just grabbing my Daniel Smith right now to see if I'd rather use that. I'm just gonna put it here. I'm also gonna put it over here so I can compare it with these colors. I mean, with the raw sienna a little closer. And you know what? I don't know. I think I might prefer the ultramarine blue. Yeah, I think the cerulean is just a little bit too warm for me, considering the raw sienna. I don't know. I could be totally wrong. I'm gonna keep both of them though, and we'll see what happens when I actually put them on the paper. So that's what we're working with. This little mess right here. So I'm gonna set that to the side. I have my tiny little sketchbook here. I believe this is one of those 8x5s or something like that. Yep, essentially 8x5. And I don't come inside of this one often because I have a bigger one, but I've done a couple of things, and we are now going to add something new. So let's go ahead and start. So the first thing I'm going to do is actually pull out my vine charcoal. Let's go ahead and push up one of these pieces. Come on up. Come on up. Actually, I'll just pull them all out. It's so difficult to get them out of the bag each time. And this is the box. So whatever, they'll be fine like that. I could sharpen this a bit more. So fortunately, I've got this handy dandy thingamabobber. And I'm just gonna rub it across to get a sharper point. Boom. And I'm gonna set this to the side because I might do something with those. Yes. Okay. So let's go ahead and do a landscape because I think it's pretty clear. Like, that's pretty much what I do, like abstract landscapes. These are upside down at the moment, but you know, whatever. Okay. So I'm thinking we're going to have maybe, I'm looking at a reference image, by the way. It's some random image I found on Google. I'm not copying it, obviously, because I'm just interpreting it. But anyway, I'm going to make some high mountains here and some other high mountains on the side that maybe go just a little bit higher. And they're not necessarily going to meet in the middle. Well, they are, but it's really going to be trees that are right here. So I'm just gonna pretend draw those in. And then we're just gonna also have other trees again throughout this whole thing. I am very new to mixed media, and so I've just been having a lot of fun experimenting. So I would say this is probably the line of the trees. I won't cover all of that in with my marker. I mean my, oops, hold on. There we go. With my charcoal, but at least we have it there. So then next, maybe some like distant trees or something like that. Now, so those are distant trees. I'm thinking maybe there will be some water. So the water will be this, except maybe in the front, I will also have like some grass. So, and then just throw a couple of rocks in there randomly, right? And maybe the water is just like deeper over here. I don't know how to indicate that for myself, but boom, there we go. This is my landscape. So let's go ahead and get started on coloring it in. So I'm thinking for the mountains, I really want them to be more grayed out because they're going to be in the distance. So I have a tiny little palette over here. I don't know if y'all can see, it looks like you can. So I'm just gonna put the Cerulean blue hue as well as a little bit of, I actually don't want to squeeze out raw sienna. Yeah, I do. I'm gonna squeeze out my raw sienna. And I am going to attempt to make us somewhat gray. Okay. I also should have grabbed my spray bottle, but I don't have it because I've been using it in another room. I am taking down my sister locks, and I've been using the spray bottle for my hair. So that's actually kind of green, which not surprising at all. This is some old ultramarine blue I had over here. So I'm just gonna add it in, as well as take a tiny bit of this. Okay, so that's not necessarily gray, but that's fine. Now I just need to, I guess I didn't mean like literal gray, just meaning to grayish it out. And now I am going to take a bigger brush and just kind of wet this area where I have my mountains, so that way the color can distribute itself and do what it does. Okay, so move. There we are. Just dropping the color in. And I want to also like touch the lines of the mountains where the charcoal is, so I can, okay, now let's do the other side. The other side, I want you to see. See, more, I've already run out, but that's okay. Now, what I'm going to do is, I think I am going to drop in just like a little bit of the blue. Oh, I mean the blue by itself, sorry. In certain areas. Okay. And let's say this back here is also mountain that I want to get, and maybe some here as well. So now that we've got that, whoop, okay, now I want to get onto the trees. So I'm thinking cerulean blue and the raw sienna will actually be a good combination this time as far as the green nature. I also just added in the ultramarine. Oops. I just dropped the box of my charcoal sticks. Okay, let me see. Yep, that's perfect. So let's go ahead and just add that in and see where things go. Now, one of the things I will also do is go ahead and sometimes drop in a little bit more of the Perylene Violet just to change up the color so that it's not too much of the same like every single time. Yeah, that's a little bit too strong. Okay. Boom. A little bit more. Let's go ahead, mix some more. And I need a little bit more water because that's very thick. Okay. So the color has changed as we have gone across the page. And I appreciate that greatly, actually. I will drop in this green that I've made just throughout the bottom as well, though. Okay. Boom. So there is the first set of trees. Then I'm gonna say maybe there's like a tiny bit of land that I see. That's just literally just a peekaboo of land. Like maybe there's a section that doesn't have trees, just ground before more trees appear. So just 1 second. Okay, now more trees. And I'm thinking we'll use a little bit more of the Perylene. Go ahead and grab some more raw sienna, some more ultramarine blue. I'm already out of that, but fortunately I've got some on the side. Okay, so here we go. Okay, so these trees, I want more Perylene, a little bit more difference. So these trees are showing up and they're kind of invading the trees in the background. Okay. And then in like this area, it's just like straight up land. And then boom, coming out again. Let's get a little bit more blue. Whoops. Okay. I need to take some of the wetness out of that. Here we go. Again, more of that invasion. I like to show some trees, basically. Okay, so then, boom, there we are. Then we come to the land. So I am going to do raw sienna plus my cerulean. Here we go. To be the land. And I'm gonna do something and take some actual straight up yellow. Who says just because I have specific colors means that I can't invite in new colors, right? So I'm just taking a bit of that yellow and throwing it in there. Whoopsie. Okay, now for the front, I'm thinking I truly want, actually, let's do this land first. Sorry. So again, with the raw sienna and the ultramarine blue plus some of that cerulean blue, I think, for this area here. We don't want to forget about it because I almost did, but this is also land. And what we'll do here is darken some of it because like there are shadows, you know, right? Okay. Okay. So now for the water. Now this is the tricky part because of course we still have the sky and the sky is going to be reflected in the water. So I should probably also handle the sky. The question for me is, what am I going to do with it? So obviously I'm going to use the Perylene Violet. That seems like the perfect opportunity for this color, but watered down greatly. Alrighty, it's not gonna only be that though. So let's go ahead and take some of my Cerulean, again, greatly watered down. And I think those will be the main colors in the sky. They'll be in the sky and in the water. So let's go for it, shall we? And I'm just gonna go over the trees as well, like it'll be fine. So there we are with the sky, and here we are. I didn't have my little things to put down on the paper to keep it from curling a little bit, but that's okay. All right, so the sky is taken care of. Now we're gonna come down to the water and just do the same thing. Okay, but I also want to bring this further here. Okay. Now this blue is clearly taking up more of the sky, so it will need to also take up more of the water as well. And then over here, I'm thinking we can actually mix Ultramarine with Perylene. Ooh, that's very, very dark. Very dark. That might be a little too dark in intensity, so let me just calm it down. Okay. And it's making a nice purple that honestly kind of reminds me of amethyst a lot. So we'll just pump it in there a little bit. And then in some areas, I'm just gonna try to like maybe scoop it out and add just the lighter parts. Okay, there we go. So I'm gonna go back over the water though and really bring out the cerulean blue a little bit more. Okay, there we are. So this is the first pass of everything. Have y'all been able to see that the whole time? Okay, yes. I would have been so sad if you couldn't. Bro, that would have been awful. So, here are my little holder downer thingies that I can't think of the name of at the moment, that I was saying I forgot to put on here, and now it's kind of just like, oh well. I mean, it's not curling too badly, so I think I'll put one down over the grass that I just did. And then in the corner of the sky, since it's dry up there. Now to go back in and try to add some depth to this. So again, if you guys were to see the reference photo, which I think I like can show it, but you might be like, wow, yeah, that's definitely not the same. Like you can see the inspiration, but it's not the same thing. So I need to give the water time to actually dry. And in the meantime and in between time, I'm gonna come back up to these areas to provide depth. So coming back up to the mountains, we've got this look of like shadow-ish coming from probably any of the clouds in the sky. So I'm just gonna try to darken a little bit. So like, or it could even be like maybe there are trees up there, you know, but they're at a distance, so they're not going to be as well seen. But I'm seeing a bit of shadow in that area, and I just want to make sure that I am honoring the shadow. Okay. There we go. And then to soften that edge, I'm just going to slide my brush across. Okay. Then when we come over this side, it's going to be the same thing. Hold on. Just some darker areas, really. Okay. Soften it. There we go. And even at the tip of that smaller mountain, it's a bit darker. So let me just drop that in. Then pull the colors down a little to soften those edges as well. Bada boom. Perfect. Now, I think what I will do is get to the trees to try to add depth to those, but maybe I need to skip them for now since they are going to be touching the mountains and I don't want them to be dispersing necessarily. Like some areas maybe, but there are hard edge areas that I don't want to. Let me see. I might be able to do it. Okay. Let me not be a scaredy cat. So I'm actually adding in a new color. Yep, I am. And it's Viridian. Hold on. Yep, Viridian, Winsor and Newton. So I'm going to mix it with my Perylene Violet. And this is the color we are given. It's kind of a, oh, that is really beautiful. Well, see, now I need to buy Viridian. Just kidding, maybe. So let's go ahead and make some of these trees stand out. It's really going to be the ones that are in the front that have more shape to them. So, or that just appear closer at the very least. So just doing a little bit of that. And then again, like I said, there are some of these darker ones. I mean, like blending in ones in the background. Okay. Crap, where did I just do that? Right here? Just that fast, I don't remember. Okay. So then we also had some like closer to the front. Okay. All right. I'm just gonna add in a hint of blue there. And that's just like a small group of trees in the, or bushes in that section here. Yeah. And then let's get some more of my Viridian and Perylene team. Okay. Probably like right here. Add a little bit of the blue. Okay. And weird moment. However, in front of these trees, I want to add a hint of raw sienna and then put a little bit of the deeper color in front of it. So I'm just gonna take a tiny bit of sap green and put it in that sienna as well. There we go. Okay. Now that I've done that, hold on, I need to pull this over a bit more. And okay, that takes care of that area. Now for, yes, we can tackle the water. I am gonna come down here really quickly though with my Viridian and Perylene. Still a bit too green. Okay, so like in this area, it's very dark. That might be a little too much. So let me just, okay. Yeah, I don't want the eye to be drawn here, so I'm just gonna try to lighten that up a bit. Okay, that's fine. Okay. All right, let's just blur some of that. So getting to the water, I would say ultimately the water is fine. What I would do is take this brush and I'm just going to wet it again to make the softness. I don't know, I'm not really good with painting water, but I do know there aren't, typically speaking, there aren't hard edges in water, but I need to give it a more watery look, which means I need to add in some more stuff, but like some darker areas just to show like there's maybe some movement happening. So we can just like go across like so. Okay, even reaching over here. this again. I don't know if this is actually helping or not. And then when we come over here, this area is tricky. So what I'm actually going to do is this mix again, because this area is actually pretty dark. Not the darkest value, I don't think, but it is dark. So going over that color, kind of coming out in here a little bit. And then I have some fun little tool. If maybe I can just kind of, I don't know if it'll make a difference with anything. In some spots I can see it happening. Oops. I haven't mastered how to use these, you guys, so bear with me. Okay. Well, that surely did something. Not necessarily what I wanted it to do, but that's okay. You live and you learn. Now coming to these rocks. Let's go ahead and get a couple of them in. There's another rock back here. And then it's clearly got, well, not clearly because I'm using different colors, but it's got some blue in it. Another rock here. Okay. And then just a couple other rocks, you know, along the way. Okay, great. So now when it comes to, let me see, are there any other areas where it may be a little bit shadowed or blending the edge of land into the water? I think there is a spot. So, and then like even around here, seems to be happening a bit. Okay, anywhere else? Kind of right here. So, all right, I think I am done. I wonder if I can cover up these marks that I made over here. But I think I might have to wait for it to dry, so we shall see in a moment, I guess. Also, up here, it's kind of just like, meow. I don't know. I wonder if there's anything I can do to improve upon this section. I'm just gonna have to wait for it to dry a little bit more though. Just some grassy areas, you know. Some very light brush strokes. Okay, I don't have to draw all the stripes. It's for people to be able to tell it's a tiger. All right. Just some of them. Okay. So I think we're good. Yeah. I'm just gonna come over here. Oops. Hold on. I'm gonna try one more time with this over here. And I'm gonna try not to overdo it. I really just want to see if I can cover up these line marks that I made, but if not, then I guess they shall stay. They shall stay. And it looks like they're staying. So I'm just gonna bring that into the land a little bit. Yep. Great. Now, what I will do is pull out my white gouache. I don't think it's actually needed in many areas. It's probably not needed at all. But none of these are what I need. Hold on. That's also not what I need. Where are my tinier detail brushes? They were hiding from me in the box. Here we are. I'm just wondering if in some of these spots I kind of want to get white, or maybe I'll mix it with like the blue. We'll see. I don't know. Actually, yeah, let me try to mix it with the blue. So that area might still be too wet. Because it's actually, hold on. I'm being a little bit too small. Because in this area, I actually took the darkness over just a little too far. And I do want to pull it back some. Because there was more brightness here. Yeah, like that. I actually think maybe this time we were successful. Let me just, you know, they say when you keep thinking, oh, I can fix this, that's when you should actually leave something alone. Yeah, I believe it. Am I listening right now? No. Which I assume is the downfall of many an artist. Anyway, there we go. I promise I'm leaving it alone this time. And then just filling in those areas. I'm gonna go ahead and do the second layer because I feel like the Perylene Violet is a little too thin in layer here. So I will just add a little bit more. You guys can intersect. There we go. Okay. That probably was not a good idea. I don't know. We'll see. There it is. Ah! Hear no evil, see no evil. We don't know what that was. Okay. Just a couple of spots maybe where Okay. Now I think I'm done. It's crazy because I saved this on the side, kind of forgot about it and hid it and got some of it on my desk. But I don't really think I needed, like, if I put it on here, it would be an afterthought, and I kind of don't want to do that. I feel like that's not a good idea, unless I were to put it over here. Okay, barely anything came off my fingers, so let's just ignore that. We're gonna pretend that I did not do that. Great. So I'm satisfied with mostly with where everything went. I was about to do something and then I was like, no, leave it alone, because why would you do that? So I'm gonna be a good girl. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna be a good girl and sign my freaking name on this thing and call it done. So I've got a calligraphy brush. We're gonna dump it in the Perylene. La da da da, la dee dee, oh. And sign my name, which is always so difficult for me. Maybe I'll do it over here. Hold on. Okay. We've got M-A-R-I-C. Mari Chan. Period. And it's in a very discreet place, I feel. So, that was my fun for today. I am going to show you guys the reference image really, really quickly. So, bear with me for a second. That was a reference image. So, thank you all so much for joining me. I hope you have a beautiful day and or night. And as always, what? This looks so weird from this way. Oh my gosh. What? I ain't even. Okay.